Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to $100 million in no time flat, by Michael Masterson. Picture this, a young guy with not one, not two, but 3 Harvard degrees, undergrad, law, and an MBA. This is Jim Koch, and he's living the dream most people think defines success. He's just brewed his first batch of what will become Samuel Adams beer, and it's aging in tanks, weeks from being ready. So what does our Harvard genius do on this crucial day? He spends the entire day hunting for the perfect computer system. Makes sense, right? Every serious business needs a computer to track sales and manage the books. That evening, his uncle calls. He's one of Jim's first investors, and he asks a simple question. So what did you accomplish today? Jim enthusiastically tells him about his computer shopping adventure. There's a pause on the other end of the line. Then his uncle cuts straight to the heart of things. Sales. By the way, have you got any? Jim admits he hasn't made a single sale yet. His uncle's voice sharpens. So what the hell are you doing buying a computer? Jim, I've seen far more businesses go broke from lack of sales than from lack of a computer. Why don't you work on first things first? That conversation changed everything. Jim suddenly realized he had it completely backward. His business didn't need a computer first, or an office, or even a proper desk. It needed a customer. The very next day, terrified but determined, he walked into a bar with a briefcase full of cold beer and made his first sale. That story captures the entire essence of what we're diving into today. It's the central idea behind a book that flips conventional business wisdom completely upside down. The book is Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson, and it's a roadmap showing how dozens of businesses have rocketed from zero to over $100 million by breaking one simple rule, the rule that says you must aim carefully before you fire. Michael Masterson is a fascinating character, sort of an entrepreneurial ghost who has quietly helped build empires in publishing, health, real estate, and countless other industries. He's not your typical buttoned-up CEO. He's more bohemian, an art collector and writer. But his life's work has been uncovering the hidden patterns of business growth. And what he discovered is that a business's journey isn't one long, continuous climb. It's a series of 4 distinct stages, and each stage has its own unique problem, its own critical challenge, and its own massive opportunity. The secret, he says, is knowing which stage you're in and focusing all your energy on solving that stage's single most important problem. So today, I'm going to walk you through that 4-stage journey. By the end, you won't just understand the philosophy of Ready, Fire, Aim. You'll have a clear, practical blueprint for taking an idea from a thought in your mind to a thriving, $100 million enterprise. This isn't just about business. It's about a whole new way of thinking about action itself. Most of us grow up learning the mantra, ready, aim, fire, look before you leap, plan every detail, perfect your product, create a flawless business plan, design the logo, print the business cards, build the perfect website, aim, 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 and then, only when everything is perfect, you fire. It sounds responsible. It sounds wise. But Michael Masterson argues that for an entrepreneur, this is the single most effective way to guarantee failure. Why? Because all that time you spend aiming, you're operating in a vacuum. You're guessing what the customer wants. You're assuming your product is good. You're investing time, money, and hope into a fantasy. The real world, the marketplace, hasn't given you a single piece of feedback yet. You're like a general planning a war with a map who's never actually seen the battlefield. Masterson flips this idea completely. His philosophy is simple: ready, fire, aim. Get your idea just ready enough, then fire, make a sale, get it into the hands of a real customer as fast as you possibly can. And then, only after you've fired, after you've seen how the market reacts, do you begin to aim. You use the feedback from that first imperfect sale to refine your product, your marketing, and your strategy. This isn't about being reckless. It's about being smart. It's about understanding that the most valuable information you'll ever get, doesn't come from a business plan. It comes from a customer. This simple shift in thinking is the engine that drives a business through its 4 critical stages of growth. Stage 1, infancy, from 0 to $1 million. This is the most fragile stage of any business. You have an idea, maybe a prototype, but you have no customers and no cash flow. According to Masterson, the main problem at this stage is brutally simple. You don't really know what you're doing. You think you know, but you don't. And because of this ignorance, most aspiring entrepreneurs make the same fatal mistake as our friend Jim Koch. They focus on everything except the one thing that matters. They focus on what Masterson calls tertiary concerns: setting up the office, designing logos, filing legal forms, perfecting the product. They're busy, but they're not productive. The main challenge of stage 1 is singular and ruthless: making the first profitable sale. That's it. Nothing else matters. Before you make a sale, you don't have a business. You have a hobby that's costing you money. The first sale is the moment your idea makes contact with reality. It's the ultimate test. Do people actually want this? Will they pay for it? Masterson tells the story of 2 entrepreneurs. The first, a New York realtor, had an idea to broker office space online. He spent a year and $10,000 building a magnificent website with all the bells and whistles. He was convinced he'd be the next Jeff Bezos. When he finally launched it, crickets. Nobody came. He had never tested his core assumption, that people would actually use his service. He ran out of money, and the business died. He had aimed perfectly, but he never truly fired. The second entrepreneur was a car repairman with a simple, almost silly idea: selling neon lights that attached to a car's undercarriage. He started with only $1,000. He spent a few hundred creating 2 crude prototypes and the rest of his money on the one thing that mattered: selling. He drove to auto shops, went to car shows, and talked to potential customers. At first, they were hesitant, so he listened. He made adjustments to the product, the price, and his pitch based on their feedback. He was aiming after he fired. For months, he reinvested every dollar of cash flow back into more selling. By the end of the year, he was pocketing real profits. That company, Street Glow Inc., went on to make over $23 million a year. The lesson is what Masterson calls the supremacy of selling. In stage 1, 80% of your time, energy, and capital should be focused on one thing: marketing and sales. Your product doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to sell. Your office can be your kitchen table. Your business cards can be handwritten. None of that matters. What matters is solving this first great challenge. And the main opportunity of this stage? Achieving a critical mass of customers. Getting enough buyers so you have cash flow, and, more importantly, a base of people you can sell to again in the future. Once you've solved the riddle of that first profitable sale, getting to $1 million in revenue is often just a matter of repeating the process. You've built the engine. Now you just need to fuel it. Stage 2, childhood, from $1 million to $10 million. You've made it. You've survived infancy. Your business is generating $1 million or more in revenue. You have a proven product and a way to sell it. It's an incredible achievement, but a new, dangerous problem emerges. The main problem of stage 2 is that you're likely only breaking even, or maybe even losing money. You're busy, sales are coming in, but the profits aren't there. This is because your entire business is built around that one successful product. You've become a one-product company. And that first product, no matter how great, will eventually hit a wall. The market becomes saturated, competitors emerge, or the trend simply fades. Many entrepreneurs get stuck here forever, running a small business that provides a salary but never builds real wealth. They're trapped in what Masterson calls a self-employment company rather than an equity business. To break through this barrier, you face a new main challenge: creating many additional, profitable products quickly. The strategy that got you to $1 million won't get you to $10 million. Stage 2 is not about perfecting one product, it's about proliferation. It's about transforming your company from a one-trick pony into an innovation machine. This is where the ready, fire, aim philosophy goes into overdrive. The key to this stage is a combination of two things: innovation and speed. But innovation doesn't mean inventing something revolutionary from scratch. Masterson argues that the biggest breakthroughs are rarely brand new ideas. They are what Malcolm Gladwell called tipping point innovations. Small, clever improvements on products or ideas that are already trending. Your job isn't to invent the next car. It's to look at the most popular car on the road and figure out one thing you can make dramatically better. He calls this the principle of one step removed. You don't jump from running a steakhouse to selling wholesale steaks. That's too many steps. You open a fish house next door. It's one step removed. You need to create a constant stream of new ideas. But how do you sell them all? This is where you must understand the critical difference between front-end and back-end marketing. Your front-end products are designed for one purpose: to acquire new customers. These are your tipping point innovations. You might even sell them at break-even or a small loss. Their job isn't to make a profit. Their job is to bring people into your world. Your back-end products are where you make all your money. These are sold to your existing customers, people who already know, like, and trust you. Back-end products don't have to be revolutionary. They can be simple, ordinary, me-too products. Because the cost of selling to an existing customer is a fraction of acquiring a new one, this is where your profits explode. The main opportunity of Stage 2, therefore, is to become a business of innovation, dramatically increasing cash flow and becoming wildly profitable by mastering this front-end/back-end dance. But to do this, you can't spend 2 years developing each new product. You need speed. You must get your new ideas from concept to market in weeks, not years. This means you must test ideas quickly, learn from your failures even faster, a principle he calls accelerated failure, and keep moving. It's during this stage that Masterson introduces one of his most powerful psychological insights: the buying frenzy. He observes that people, especially when buying things they want rather than need, don't make single, rational purchases. Once they make that first emotional decision to buy, their desire to buy again is actually stronger. He tells a story about his own weakness for expensive briefcases. He has over a dozen and needs another one like he needs a hole in the head. But every time he buys one, the good feeling from that purchase makes him want another. A savvy business understands this. When a customer buys that expensive pen, you don't just say thank you. You immediately show them the matching pencil, the leather case, the whole collection. You lean into the frenzy. This is the engine of back-end sales. You're not just selling products. You're selling the good feeling the customer gets from buying. Mastering this stage means you're no longer just an entrepreneur. You're becoming a true marketing genius, capable of leading a business into the double-digit millions. Stage 3. Adolescence. From $10 million to $50 million. Your business is flying. You're an innovation machine, launching new products, attracting thousands of customers, and the revenues are climbing past 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. It feels like you're on top of the world, but underneath the surface, the machine is starting to shake violently. The main problem of Stage 3 is that your systems are strained, and customers are starting to notice. The chaos that fueled your growth is now threatening to tear the company apart. Orders are getting lost. Customer service calls are taking longer. Product quality is slipping. The entrepreneurial let's-get-it-done culture that was your greatest strength has now become your greatest weakness. You, the founder, are now the main bottleneck. You're still trying to have your hands in everything, approving every ad, inspecting every product, but the business has grown too big. It can no longer be run by one person's heroic efforts. This is the adolescent stage. Awkward, chaotic, and painful. Your main challenge is to turn the chaos into order. This requires a transformation that goes against every entrepreneurial instinct you have. You have to stop being the chief doer and start being the chief leader. You have to embrace the thing you probably hate: structure. This means bringing in professional managers, maybe even a few of those corporate types with MBAs you used to make fun of. You need a chief operating officer to build systems and processes. You need to create an organizational chart, establish clear departments, and implement boring but essential things like accounting controls and customer service protocols. Masterson suggests a brilliant way to structure the company to keep the entrepreneurial spirit alive while building a stable foundation. You split the company in two. One half is the operations core, run by your chief operating officer. This includes accounting, customer service, IT, fulfillment, everything that needs to be efficient and orderly. Their job is to make the trains run on time. The other half is the growth side, made up of separate profit centers, each run by one of your superstar employees, people he calls entrepreneurs. These are your creative leaders who are responsible for developing and marketing new products. They report to you, the CEO. This structure allows you to do two things at once. It lets the operations side build a rock-solid professional foundation, and it keeps the growth side fast, flexible, and entrepreneurial. You, the founder, can now step out of the day-to-day chaos and focus 80% of your time on what you do best, working with your entrepreneurs on marketing and product development. The main opportunity of this stage is learning how to manage this new, more complex organization. It's about learning to lead through systems, to trust your managers, and to communicate your vision to hundreds of employees, not just a handful in your inner circle. It's about fighting the new enemies that emerge in a large organization: bureaucracy and office politics. You must create a culture where freedom and competition thrive internally, where the best ideas win, regardless of who they come from. This is often the hardest transition for a founder to make. It requires letting go. But if you can successfully navigate this stage, you build a business that can run and grow without you. Stage 4, adulthood, from $50 million to $100 million and beyond. You've built a mature, stable, and highly profitable company. It's a real corporation now, with hundreds of employees, professional management, and multiple thriving profit centers. But even at this massive scale, a new problem can emerge. The main problem of Stage 4 is that sales can slow down and even stall. The business has become so big and so systematic that it has lost the entrepreneurial fire that got it there. It has become too comfortable, too bureaucratic. Your main challenge now is to become entrepreneurial again, but this time, it's not about you being the sole innovator. It's about restructuring the entire company to reignite that spark. This is where Masterson reveals the final, profound transformation of the entrepreneur. You must change your role one last time, from business builder to wealth builder. You have to stop thinking of the company as a collection of products and employees, and start seeing it as an asset, an investment. You must become your company's main investor, its own Warren Buffett. What does this mean? It means you step back from the CEO role. You promote one of your top superstars to take your place. You might become the chairman of the board. Your new job isn't to run the business day to day. It's to guide its biggest strategic decisions. You might do this by breaking the company up into even more independent businesses, giving your entrepreneurs equity and letting them run their own shows, with you as an advisor and investor. This is exactly what Masterson did with a business that hit $135 million. He and his partner broke it into 5 separate companies, gave them to their top employees, and stepped back. The result? Revenues went through the roof because they had unleashed the entrepreneurial potential of 5 leaders instead of just one. The main opportunity of this final stage is to get the business to run itself, creating a legacy that generates wealth for generations without requiring your daily effort. You now have the freedom to choose your role. You can be an advisor, meeting with your leaders a few times a year to share wisdom. You can focus on acquisitions, using your company's profits to buy other businesses, or you can simply enjoy the fruits of your labor. You have completed the journey. You've gone from doing all the work yourself, to managing others, to leading a large organization, and finally, to guiding its destiny as an investor. you have achieved what the book promises in its introduction: the greatest job in the world. The freedom to work when you want, where you want, with whom you want, doing only what you want. That is the full arc of Ready, Fire, Aim. It's a journey not just of business growth, but of personal evolution. It's a testament to the power of action over perfection, and a guide to navigating the predictable yet challenging stages of building something truly great from nothing. When you step back and look at Ready, Fire, Aim, you realize it's not just a business book, it's a book about the psychology of action. The central idea that it's better to act imperfectly than to plan perfectly is a profound lesson that extends far beyond the world of entrepreneurship. It's a cure for the paralysis that so many of us feel when faced with a big dream, whether it's starting a business, writing a book, or learning a new skill. The book's most powerful contribution, I believe, is its deconstruction of the entrepreneurial journey into 4 distinct stages. This framework is like a map for a territory that most people wander through blindly. By understanding that the problem you face today, whether it's making your first sale or managing organizational chaos, is a normal, predictable part of a specific stage, it removes so much of the fear and uncertainty. It tells you, you are here. This is the dragon you must slay. And here is the sword you need to do it. It replaces anxiety with a focused plan of action. What's also brilliant is how Michael Masterson shows that the skills that make you successful in one stage can actually become your downfall in the next. The relentless, hands-on hustler needed for stage 1 becomes the bottleneck in stage 3. The innovation machine of stage 2 can create chaos, if not balanced, with the systems of stage 3. This reveals the deeper truth of the book. Building a great business requires you, the founder, to constantly evolve. You must be willing to let go of the identity that made you successful in the past to embrace the new one required for the future. It's a journey of shedding skins. So, how can you apply these ideas right now, today? Let's make it incredibly simple. First, if you have an idea for a business, ask yourself the stage 1 question: what is the absolute fastest, cheapest, and most direct path to my first sale? Not the perfect product, not the beautiful website, the first sale. Can you create a crude version and sell it to a friend this week? Can you post a description on social media and see if anyone will pre-order it? Take one action, no matter how small, that moves you toward that first transaction. Fire. Second, if you already have a business that's making money but feels stuck, ask yourself the stage 2 question: what is one new, simple product I can offer my existing customers this month? It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It can be a simple guide, an accessory, a consultation service. Tap into the power of your back-end and your customer relationships. Just launch something new. And third, for anyone who feels overwhelmed and buried in work, ask the stage 3 question: what is one task I am currently doing that is essential but could be done by someone else? Your job as a leader is to elevate yourself to solve bigger problems. That can only happen if you delegate. Identify one thing, write down the process, and hand it off to someone you trust. Start letting go. Ready, Fire, Aim is more than a manual for making money. It's a philosophy of momentum. It teaches that progress isn't born from flawless planning, but from messy, courageous, and immediate action. It reminds us that the journey of building something great is a series of imperfect steps taken quickly, with the courage to correct our course along the way. That was a summary of Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. We've explored the big ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The real adventure begins when you decide to walk the roads yourself. The book is filled with stories, details, and hard-won wisdom that we just couldn't cover. If the idea of a clear, stage-by-stage path to building a business excites you, if the philosophy of action over perfection resonates with you, then I truly believe this book is worth your time. Reading it isn't just about learning business tactics. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with risk, failure, and success. A link to the book is in the description below. Also, if this journey through the 4 stages of business growth has provided you with a new perspective, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets us know we're on the right track and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.